admission entitled area. Once again, it's the field of play. They don't have the field of play anytime for any reason. Competitors on C squad only may be on the tile area. All right, this is our final 5 games for C squad. Bowling fans, how about a great setup this morning for C squad? Thank you and good luck.
Hello and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to BowlTV. My name is Matt Canizaro, and you are tuned in for the final day of qualifying here at the 2018 USBC Senior Masters. Looking forward to an exciting day here at the Samstown Bowling Center in Las Vegas. Again, day 3 of qualifying, the final 5 games before we cut our field down from 272 competitors to the top 63 plus our defending champion Walter A. Williams Jr. Right now this is our C squad. They bowled late on the first day, middle of the day yesterday, and now bowling on the fresh 41-foot oil pattern here on day 3. And many of the bowlers at the top of our standings came off of this squad. So we'll have an eye to keep on. The potential overall leader coming off of this squad here. Some top contenders here in our featured pairs. We'll meet them in just a minute. We'll take a look at the standings first. Overall, leading the way after day 1, Brian LeClaire at plus 406, James Campbell at plus 392. Both of those guys were on this squad. Looks like 7 or 8 of our top 10 came off the C squad so far. We'll get the rundown as things unfold here. Game-by-game updates also available at bowl.com/Senior Masters. So we'll take a look at our featured pairs here, lanes 19 through 22 at Samstown. Great host so far this week for the Senior Masters and last week for the Super Senior Classic. Here at 19 and 20, we've got David Axon, Mark Scroggins, Dennis Klein, and Curtis Matlock. And over on 21 and 22 is Billy Langford, Lenny Borsch, Jimmy Montgomery, and Joseph Imperatori. Also, while we have this opportunity, I'll probably say it again as we get comfortable here. Mark Scroggins wanted to give a shout out to his granddaughter Sarah, who should be watching at home in Texas. I believe it's Texas, where that's where he's from. I assume she's there as well. But Sarah, hello, and thank you for tuning in to BowlTV. And Mark promised he was going to bowl a big game here for you on our featured pair, so we will see. I have no doubt he'll keep that promise. Already started off well. Spare strike here in our first two frames. Appreciate everybody joining us here early. Haven't even put the link up on social media yet, and we've got quite a crowd, so we appreciate the support here. I know the bowlers do as well. Matthew Graham, hello, first one in. Thank you for joining us throughout the week. CK Moore, always nice to see you drop in. Appreciate the kind words. Lenny Frost, thanks for dropping in as well. Chipper Key is running around, working hard, getting scores, making sure everything's running smoothly here with our tournament staff. If you guys want to follow some of our leaders throughout this 56 lane bowling center, you can do that. Just go to bowl.com/Senior Masters and go to the results page. You'll find a link to the live scoring. Follow the players as they move. All right, time to take a look through our live scoring, see who around the bowling center is making some noise. If you want to follow our tournament leader, Brian LeClaire, he's down on 7 and 8. Got to learn a little bit about him yesterday and some of his struggles and his knee situation. Nearly quit bowling a month ago, and out here on the PBA 50 tour, now they call him the Robotic Man, or Bionic Man. He has a custom knee brace that stabilizes his knee and helps with the pain situation. See if we can get a video of him, assuming that he doesn't already come by our live stream pair. One pair to our right, Noel Vasquez. Started with the front 6, and just as I looked over, it appears he threw a gutter ball. So there goes that. See if we can catch it in the replay. here on BowlTV. Yep, there it goes. All right, so well, it's gonna get up and shoot the spare. See a question about the lane courtesy, and here at the Senior Masters we use the PBA lane courtesy where, for example, if you're bowling on 19 and 20, you'll wait until the bowler on 17 and 18 goes, and 21 and 22. Those two should go at the same time. And then 19 and 20 would go, and then 17, 18, 21, 2 again, and so on. So that you're always ready to bowl. And then it actually keeps the flow pretty well, pretty steady. Been getting done consistently pretty quick. Bowlers up when it's their turn. Pair to the left, pair to the right, and go. Pair to the left, pair to the right, and go. Very smooth. Just a little bit different than the traditional 1 or 2 link courtesy that we're used to. Alright, so game 1 coming to a close here. We're reaching the 10th frame now on 19 and 20. Dennis Klein working on a double, can get to 217. David Axon, 3 consecutive 9 spares, can get to 204. So Klein finishes with 206, 190 for Axon. Curtis Matlock with a spare here. Get to 181. And Mark Scroggins looking for a big finish here for his granddaughter, Sarah. Hopefully she's watching. 207 max score over on our other pair. Montgomery, 214. Billy Langford. Tough start here, can get to 156. Paratori. Similar situation, get to 151. And Lenny Boris having a rough game here. He can finish strong though for 189, which would be a nice save. No doubles here through 9 frames, but looks like he's working on a different ball here for the 10th frame. So a little bit of a slow start here on our featured pairs. To our right, Noah Vasquez rallied after the gutter in the 7th, ended with 259. Players on the move. See who is coming our way. All right, looks like Sarah was watching, so hopefully she'll get to see Grandpa Mark and match play coming up later in the week. Let's see how much work he's got to do, if any. Looks like he was in 61st place coming into today at plus 111. And our cut number was plus 106, so Grandpa Mark better get to striking so we can see him bowl some more this week here at Samstown. All right, folks, game number 1 in the books. We do appreciate everybody being here. We'll have game number 2 coming up in just a minute. We'll take a look at our standings and see what's what. All these folks now bowling first squad of the day. So if they're close to that number, like Mr. Scroggins, it's going to be a long, long wait for the next 2 squads. We'll know for sure what that number will be in about 11 hours. So coming up next will be our A squad bowlers bowling on the burn, and then our B squatters will hit the double burn. Next squad will be coming up at noon local, 3 p.m. Eastern, and the final squad of the day will be at 7 p.m. Eastern. So with that, get settled in for our next round of bowlers. Game number 2 coming right up, folks. 2018 Senior Masters rolls on. Just one moment.
That's the way I walk.
Folks, we are settled in here for game number 2. Updated standings in just a minute. 8 new players have come our way. Gary Faulkner, Marv Sargent, Jerry Sikora, and Paul Appling here on 19 and 20. And over on 21 and 22, Darwin Weimer and Mark Williams, David Rhodes, and Brian Kendall. And Mark Williams was our runner-up at the Super Senior Classic. He bowled right here on this pair, 21 and 22. Bowled very well in the semifinal, and then came up short in the final against Mike Diaz. 278-205 was the final score there. Mark, though, a nice payday in his first event as a 60 plus. Well, yesterday had a 299 game and then closed his set with 275 to jump into the top 10. Looking to hang on today and earn a spot in the 64 player bracket. Check in on the rest of the folks as the standings are updated after the opening game today. Again, this is game 2 of 5. And these guys will head back to wherever to wait it out. So again, this is C Squad bowling on the Fresh, the 41-foot oil pattern, 29 mils Kegel ice oil. You can see the graph at bowl.com/Senior Masters. Each group of bowlers had the opportunity to bowl on each squad of the day. So these guys saw the double burn on the first day, burn yesterday in the middle, and now the Fresh on day number 3. And it looks like we do have standings after our opening game today, leading the way and continuing to bowl very well. Brian LeClaire, our overall leader, starts with 224 today. He is at plus 430. James Campbell struggled to 184 here on the fresh. He knew this would be the most challenging pattern for him. We talked to him in his interview after he led following round one. Been doing a lot of work, trying to be able to play a little bit straighter. And we'll be working on that. And some ball surfaces and different things to attack the fresh here on day 3, but in great position to make the top 64. But a learning opportunity here, certainly, because they'll see fresh conditions as they get into match play the rest of the week. All right, so that said, Campbell second at plus 376. Keith Lesko from A squad in third at plus 343. But for the C squatters, Little Monticelli plus 316. Brian Goebel plus 283. He started with 236. Mark Williams here on our featured pair is tied with Goebel at plus 283. He had 220 in the opener. Robert Brown, 202. He's at plus 268. And Noel Vasquez, after that 259 game, is up to the top 10. Tied for 10th place at plus 250 with Alan Sineval of Sweden. Standings available at bowl.com/Senior Masters. A lot of great information there. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat room as well. We've still got 2 rounds coming up today of qualifying and then match play for the next couple days. And of course the TV finals on Sunday at 10 a.m. local time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Remember, subscribe to BowlTV so that you'll always be in the know about those events when they're going on and such. Also, if you're enjoying the coverage of the Senior Masters, give us a thumbs up below your video window there, so we'll know that people like Senior Masters coverage, so let's keep doing it. All right, we're in the back half of game number 2 already. Marv Sargent working on a string of strikes here on 19 and 20. And Sargent in 135th place at -4. So a huge game here. Put him right back in the hunt with 3 games to go. And that cut number holding steady at +106. So, a couple games like this. All right, well, have some additional news on the Marv Sargent front. Just looking at his first game here on this block today, 214. So he is in the plus now. He's at +10 and moved up 4 spots already. So a big game here will help him surge even higher. Right. Our overall leader, Brian LeClaire, you could possibly see him in the left side of your screen there on lane 18 right now. Spare 6-bagger, so working on 290, working to separate himself a little bit, but most importantly, get a command of this fresh oil pattern. He struck again. So I'd say he's probably got the hang of it. Match play will begin tomorrow. Push things back 1 hour. So we'll be going on the air at noon Eastern with the left side of the bracket, followed by a re-oil, and then the right side of the bracket. Only 56 lanes here. We're not using all of them, but either way, that would not be enough. So we'll go half and half, and then have match play throughout the day, tomorrow and Saturday. Our Sargent looking to continue his hot start here on the fresh. And there's one more. Coming into the day -4. Now trying to work his way into the top 64 in just a couple games. Highest game of the Senior Masters so far. Did have a 300 yesterday. Rick Minear came minutes after Mark Williams posted his 299 effort. Looks like James Campbell is getting comfortable after the slow start. He's got the front 7 down on 47 and 48. Again, for some of these players who are well up there in the standings, they are most likely going to make the top 64. It's an opportunity to maybe try some different things. Of course, once you get to the bracket, chances are you're going to be facing somebody who's pretty good at bowling. So for some, seeding really not all that important. You know it's going to be tough no matter what. But an opportunity to try some things that might get you another look or a backup plan. For our defending champion, Walter Ray Williams Jr., he's guaranteed at least the number 64 spot. So he can try different things all week long. He's been bowling very well and was in 16th place coming into today's 3rd round. James Campbell striking it up on 47-8, so I'm going to take a short walk, folks. I'll be right back. Enjoy the rest of game number 2 here. Marv Sargent put on a show, working on 290 here in our feature pair. And I'll be right back for possibly the conclusion of game 2 and game 3 for sure. All right, made it back just in time to see Marv Sargent close things out. 290 here, live on BowlTV. James Campbell came up a little bit short there in the 9th frame. And ended up being 9 out, so 267 max for him. Ryan LeClaire had 255 right next to us, but nice effort here. And our feature pair, Marv Sargent, going from -4 to now plus 100 after 2 games. Over on 21 and 22. Darwin Weimer, 213. Rhodes 185. Mark Williams looking to finish strong. Spare here, put him in the 190s. Brian Kendall. Bit of a challenge here in game 2. He was 18th coming into this game at plus 202. Had 154 in the opener here. And now 158 in game 2, but still got time and some room to bounce back here the rest of the way. 3 more games to go. 2 in the books. Appreciate everybody joining us. We will have game 3 in just a minute. New players headed our way. And see a comment, straighter players are dominating, and that was the strategy for most here on this fresh lane condition. We saw it yesterday with Daniel Miyamoto on B squad. Bowled plus 201, second high block of the day on the fresh yesterday. So made his move from plus 34 to plus 235. And now in 12th place coming in, he'll bowl on the double burn today. And new versatility would be important. But really the goal here is if there's one variation that you prefer, whether it be the double burn, the fresh, the burn. James Campbell, for example, liked the double burn because he was able to get left and throw it right. He knew the fresh would be a little bit of a challenge and showed that early in game 1. But has worked hard to improve that versatility. And then for Miyamoto, it was the opposite. He likes to play straighter and did that very well. Got all he could on the fresh yesterday when the outside line was there for him. And he expects to be able to, or have to move left and get a little bit deeper today, so maybe not as comfortable. So got what he could on his best, and then it's a matter of grinding and being successful the rest of the way. And then at this event, especially since pins drop, just get there. That's the goal, get there. And then work on your equipment, work on your strategy, work with the player you're bowling against on how to play the pair, etc. Alright, and with that, game 3 underway here on our featured pairs, and we get to see our tournament leader, Brian LeClaire. There he is on lane 22 right now. You see the knee brace. The marvels of modern technology allowing him to be here and leading the way. He's joined on 21 and 22 by Steve DiMartino, Warren Nelson, and Jerry Smith. All familiar names. We saw Warren Nelson make the stepladder finals at the Super Senior Classic last week. Continuing to bowl well here at the Senior Masters. Over on 19 and 20, Warren Blankenship, Brian Cooper, Gary Reynolds, and Kevin Anderson. We'll have our updated standings here in just a minute, and we'll see how these guys are looking as we wind things down. Game 3 of 5 underway, 2018 USBC Senior Masters final qualifying squad for our C squad bowlers. Some will head home after these 5 games. Others will hang around, wait to see if they got enough, and then some probably got more than enough and get to go relax and enjoy what Las Vegas has to offer. Back at it now for game number 3. Standings on their way. Just getting comfortable here. Good numbers, 500 watching here on this A squad. First squad of the day. C squad wrapping things up here. Technically. You're getting a chance to see your tournament leader, Brian LeClaire, trying to be untouchable here. Good news though for Brian, especially with his severe knee injury. We'll get done bowling early. He's at this point a lock for match play, so he can get out of here and go rest, ice, whatever he's got to do to be ready for tomorrow. He's going well here on the fresh, so it's time for his bracket. Both sides of the bracket will bowl on the fresh again tomorrow. We'll have the left side first at noon Eastern. We'll re-oil and then have the right side of the bracket come on after. So figuring something out right now is a great idea. Updated standings for C Squad after 12 games now. Brian LeClaire still leading after that 255 game. He's at plus 485 for the event. Plus 485. He's on top. James Campbell, second on C Squad, second overall at plus 432. Also going well. C Squatter in fourth place. Brian Goebel, 236, 258, plus 341, and Lito Monicelli. Back-to-back 223 games to start the day. He is at plus 339. Noel Vasquez, 259, 255, trying to solidify his place. 514 after 2. He is at plus 305 overall. Tied with Alan Sinoval, who also had 255 in game number 2. Mark Williams plus 276. And Robert Brown rounding at the top 10 at plus 274. There's still a long way to go. 2 more squads coming up. This is only 1/3 of our bowlers right now. The cash number, the cut line for that match play bracket, is at plus 106. So 272 bowlers in the field this week. 1 in 4 will cash. So 68 will cash. 64 will advance to that double elimination match play bracket. Back half of game number 3. So let's look in and see how the other players on our featured pairs are doing overall. We'll start with Gary Reynolds since he is up now. He's at minus 21 overall. With 3 games to go, so a bit of work to do, but off to a good start here in game number 3. Working on a double now, stepping up on lane 19. Warren Blankenship, minus 82 with 3 to go, down in 176th place. Kevin Anderson is at plus 133, inside the number, 50th place. Still plenty of room to get in a more comfortable position. Make the wait for the rest of the day a little bit easier. And Brian Cooper also in the number at plus 146 in 44th place. So again, a couple good games. The rest of the day a little bit easier. And over on 21 and 22, Steve DiMartino is at minus 30. We already know that Leclerc is our overall leader. Jerry Smith is in 59th place at plus 116 after a pair of 192 games today. So a little bit of work to do here for him. And finally, Warren Nelson, who's had a great couple of weeks here. He is in 12th place at plus 254, had 242 last game. So solid effort, solid couple of weeks here for that young man. Very nice to see the conversations going on in the chat room. Good sharing of bowling knowledge. So always nice. Here's the left-hander, Gary Reynolds, trying to share some bowling knowledge on how to get a 4-bagger at the Senior Masters, and he's done it. And folks, if you're just joining us here, we are in game 3 of our 5-game opening block today. It's the C squad. 2 more squads coming up after this. My name is Matt Canizaro, and this is the 2018 USBC Senior Masters. updated standings can be found at bowl.com/Senior Masters, along with a link to the live scoring. Very helpful tool, especially when you are parked behind some lanes or far away at home. James Campbell, first round leader, second overall right now, is going down on 43 and 44 and has struck on 6 of his first 7 shots, so going well again after a 184 start, 256 in game 2, and now on 279 pace. Just like that, it's the 10th frame here. Featured pairs. Give you the rundown here. Gary Reynolds, clean through 9 frames. Get to 235. And Blankenship, after the split in the 8th, looking to finish strong, can get to 210. Tournament leader Brian Leclerc. A little bit of a hiccup there in the 7th and 8th. Can punch for 232. That will bring his overall average down to drop, but 0 concerns for him, I think, at this point, besides the knee holding up. Steve DiMartino can get to 189 if he wow the BowlTV viewers here with the pickup of the Greek church. Jerry Smith, max score 204. And Warren Nelson, 203 possible. All right, final shots coming up here. Nice effort for Kevin Anderson. He'll be in the 220s. Reynolds, 220s as well. Solid finish for Blankenship to get to 210. And now Brian Cooper saving this one. Get to 199. All right, just like that, 3 games down, 2 to go. And the 2018 USBC Senior Masters experience winding down for 3/4 of our field. This time tomorrow, we'll have only 64 players left. Been a great week here at Samstown for the Senior Masters. Appreciate Tom Pippinger and the whole staff here, Chelsea, and the rest of the folks who do the work quietly, and we don't know their names, but friendly faces, smiles, of course. Always very helpful. Nice to be here at Samstown. Looking forward to future events. And of course, all of this made possible with help from our gold partners, Brunswick Hammer, Columbia 300, Rotogrip, Ebonite Storm, and of course Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider. Here bright and early each day to lay down this 41-foot oil pattern utilizing Kegel ice oil. So we'll patiently await our players for game number 4. We'll get updated standings. You know the routine. We've been at this for a minute. So we've had 2 days of qualifying so far. 3 blocks. 15 games each day. And our final day now, this is C Squad wrapping up its final 5 games. A Squad coming up next, then B Squad. So 10 more games, plus the last couple on this squad. It's been exciting, and then it's even better. Double elimination match play coming up starting tomorrow, folks. We'll be right back with game number 4. All right, we're back now for game number 4 of our 5-game qualifying block today. And we've got some familiar faces here on our featured pairs, 19 and 20. And 21 and 22. So to our left, we have Joseph Petrovich, Bob Baer, Wayne Garber, and of course the USBC and PBA Hall of Famer Norm Duke, who won the regular Masters back in 1993. Looking to join the very elite club of bowlers who have won both the Masters and the Senior Masters. That list includes Dave Sutar and Walter Ray Williams Jr. Walter Ray, the only bowler to have done it twice each. Sutar won the Masters in 1973 in Syracuse, and then the Senior Masters in 2000. Walter Ray won the Masters in 2004 and 2010, both in Reno, Nevada, and then picked up victories at the Senior Masters in 2014 and 2017. He's our defending champ here, looking to become the first Three-time winner at the event. Joined in that hunt by Dale Traver and Pete Weber, who both are here this week as well. Then over on 21 and 22, we've got Ron Holzler, Mike Diaz, fellow left-hander. Hold on that pair for the championship match of the Super Senior Classic last weekend. Shot .278 to defeat Mark Williams. Mike took home $8,500. So if he's leaning a little to one side or the other, you know which pocket all that money's in. But Mike looking to continue his success here and continue into match play at the Senior Masters. Also on this pair, we've got Don Breeden and Frank Rose Jr. Standings through 13 games now. The gap has closed a little bit. Ryan LeClaire holding on to that top spot at plus 506. But James Campbell, last two games, 256, 268 to get to plus 500. So 6 pins separating the top two spots. Noel Vasquez, though, what a day he's having. 780 for his first three today. He's at plus 371 in third place. So some separation there for the top two. Vasquez at plus 371. Brian Goebel is at plus 365. And Little Monicelli, 2015 Senior Masters champ, is at plus 363. So your top five, all C squad bowlers with 2 games to go. And then 7th and 8th, Alan Seneval at plus 319. He's from Sweden. And Mark Williams bouncing back with 235. He is at plus 311. So 7 out of the top 8 right now. And 8 out of the top 10 are C squatters. Other two, Keith Lesko at 6th at plus 343. And Pete Weber 9th at plus 308. That is your rundown. If you want to see how other folks are doing, you can find the standing sheet at bowl.com/Senior Masters. Norm Duke comfortably in 13th place at plus 227. Bob Bear is at minus 61. Petrovic at plus 58. So a couple good games could give him something to sweat out the rest of the day. Right now in 96th place. A pair of 170 games this block. So definitely not out of it with 2 games to go. And Wayne Garber's at plus 18, so they'll need to start stringing him here if he's going to have something to wait around for. Like Diaz right now, minus 51. So it looks like he is running out of gas here. 2 games to go. He's been minus both blocks, 994 and 982. John Breeden inside the number at this point, plus 139 in 49th place. Working on a double here to get a little more cushion. Frank Rose Jr. minus 91. And Holzler is at minus 210. guys with game and a half left. Next squad coming up at noon local time, so 2 hours. That's 3 p.m. on the East Coast. Hopefully our numbers will stay good the rest of the way. Today's the best day. It's a cut day. Well, maybe not the best day for the folks who don't make the cut, but excitement-wise, as it winds down. At the Super Senior Classic last week, we had a roll-off for the final spot in the Cashers round. That was pretty cool. One game roll-off. See a question about when and where is the 2019 USBC Senior Masters. And can't say that that has been announced yet. Certainly I can go double check. Wouldn't want to give away any information that's not public. Let me go ask that question and come back and take a look across the house at the live scoring. All right, folks, did get the quick confirmation that we do not have a final official publishable date and time for this event next year, but that announcement should be coming soon as people need to make their arrangements. For 2019. This year, pretty nice deal for the senior players. Many started the West Coast swing here with the PBA 50 event in Brentwood, California. That event won by Ron Moore. Title match victory over Walter Ray Williams Jr. And then those 16 older were able to head over to the Super Senior Classic here at Samstown, followed by the Senior Masters. And many will stay behind another week for the U.S. Open, the Senior U.S. Open at Suncoast. And then should all of that happen in the same way in 2019, which it's been that way for a couple of years now, would make sense. Throw in the USBC Open Championships at the South Point Bowling Plaza, as well as the Bowlers Journal Championships at the South Point Bowling Center. And it could be a pretty fun couple weeks for our senior players. But more details on all that coming soon. Keep your eye on bowl.com. And of course the official USBC Facebook page, the Sport of Bowling USBC. All great information shared there. And for this event in particular, some good highlights and news and notes that you don't get to see or hear about here on the live stream. So check that out. Remember to like that page. And remember to subscribe to BowlTV so you'll be in the know when something's popping here on your #1 bowling live stream. I just made that up. I don't know if we're #1. I don't know. Extra frame. Maybe we're co-number 1. Let's go with that. We talked earlier about Warren Nelson and the great performance he had at the Super Senior Classic, and now here at the Senior Masters, he's down on 13 and 14 with the front 6. So keep an eye on that. People like strikes. Warren Duke trying to make some magic happen on 19 and 20. Brian Foss, fellow Hall of Famer, did the same on this pair yesterday. Had the front 10. Ended with 289 at the time. That was the highest game of the event. So, let's see if Norm can keep stringing him. Mark Sargent had 290 on this pair earlier in the day. John Breeden, 21 and 2 also. Trying to solidify his place in the top 64. Spare 5-bagger, or open 5-bagger, I'm sorry. Split in the first, but quickly lined up. Warren Nelson's string of strikes ended in the 6th frame. From here, it looks like a 7-pin. On 45 and 6, Lenny Boris with the front 6. Duke still perfect here in our featured pair. Lord Duke's been a human highlight reel in his career. 30 plus PBA titles. Showing extreme versatility. Won his first title back at 18 years old, and now here he is in the Senior Masters. So what a long career. Duke trying to go 8 for 8, and the 10 won't go. Duke in great position here in his hunt for his first Senior Masters title. Definitely see him in match play coming up tomorrow and Saturday. All right, folks, had some excitement down at the other end of the center. Turned into just a nice game. What was down there watching James Campbell making a run at 290. He came up short of that, but potentially he'll be the leader once again here with one game to go. And then Lenny Boris Jr. had the front 10 before leaving a split. But again, another big game. So both those guys solidifying their places in the top 64. I feel pretty good walking out of here today. Looks like I missed some conversation, but we're back in action now for our final game. Updated standings coming in just 1 minute. Then we'll track down our leader. And then we'll take a break, which probably will be about an hour before our next squad hits the lanes. Today's schedule is CAB. C squad, A squad, B squad. This is the fresh. Lanes will not be oiled for our next squad. And Matthew Graham, I can neither confirm nor deny that the lack of 300 games is my fault at all. I will say that it took 3 days for James Campbell to throw a strike on video for me. However, did get Rick Meniere's 300 yesterday. That was the first one we've seen in our stint here in Las Vegas. Ron Moore had 299 at the Super Senior Classic. And then Mark Williams had 299 yesterday here at the Senior Masters. He absolutely will blame that on me. And then when he had the front nine again later, also my fault, but that's because we can do that. It's always fun to be down there in the mix. One gentleman, Emilio Mora, just now, I believe was on the pair where Lenny was bowling, and he was on the pair where Rick was bowling yesterday. So I feel that he's the good luck charm, and I just come in there to capture the moment. But always, hopefully always lighthearted when it's all over with. There's some great players here. All right, so our final game now underway. We've got some standout players up on lane 19 right now. Jim Knobloch, 2014 Super Senior Classic winner. Won that event down at the ITRC in Arlington, Texas. Jim hails from Wisconsin. Also on this pair, we've got Robert Brown and Jay Knighting. We'll go with Knighting. And on our other pair is Dana Wright, Joe Fulner, Rick Brenori, and Brian Voss. Voss came through our live stream yesterday on 19 and 20 and promptly shot 289 with the front 10. Also not my fault. Folks who popped in since I was away and returned, you're watching the first squad of the final day of qualifying here at the 2018 USBC Senior Masters. All of these bowlers now have bowled, will have bowled 15 games over 3 days on a 41-foot oil pattern here at Samstown Bowling Center. And 15 game pinfall totals will determine the 63 players who join our defending champion Walter A. Williams Jr. in our special double elimination match play bracket. And in match play, each match will be 3 games with total pinfall determining who advances. So at that point, all pinfall drops, and then it's just the 2 players going head to head on that pair of lanes. Scoring pace around the center means nothing. A guy on one side might win by shooting 560, and a guy on the other end might lose shooting 760. That's just the nature of the event, and definitely keeps it exciting both for the players and the fans. So that's coming up tomorrow starting at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. here in Las Vegas. If you're here and you want to come out and visit, matches will take place throughout the day, both tomorrow and Saturday. Tomorrow we'll get started with the left side of the bracket, re-oil, and follow that up with the right side of the bracket. And then we'll get into our elimination matches, of course, because after those 2 first-round matches, half the field will be on the brink of elimination. So it'll be an exciting couple days. TV finals coming up on Sunday at 10 a.m. here in Las Vegas, 1 p.m. Eastern. Before we give a rundown of the standings at this point, we'd like to give a shout out to Craig Elliott checking in, our fellow live streamer. Craig Elliott has covered quite the variety of bowling events. Spent countless hours in the live stream booth, so welcome, Craig. Taking a look at our standings now through 14 games for C Squad. James Campbell is at plus 569. He's the overall leader. Brian LeClaire is at 544. So for Campbell's last 3 games, and I just talked to him a minute ago, kind of seeing what happened down there. James Campbell bowled 793 for his last 3, but he told me about the start today on the fresh. He thought he was going to need to play a little bit straighter, and he did so in practice. And then the ball just started hooking, and kind of grinded through game number 1, shot 184, and then decided, what ball he was going to go with for game 2. And found a look that he was more comfortable with, that he didn't expect to be there, but it ended up being. So he's a little more in his wheelhouse, not as straight as he expected to have to play. And then followed that 184 up with 256, 268, and 269. So he is in great shape here. And those 2 gentlemen, Campbell and LeClaire, potentially could be 1-2 by the end of the day. But we'll definitely see. But right now, Campbell 569, LeClaire 544. Next one is Noel Vasquez at plus 381. And behind him, Bryant Goebel at plus 360, and then Alan Seneval at plus 343. So I feel at this point, I'll be chatting with either Campbell or LeClaire. I feel good about that. Not about the actual conversation itself, I know that will go fine, but about the mathematical possibilities here. To return the hello to Edward Padrina. Thank you for tuning in here on BowlTV. I appreciate it. Just taking a quick peek at the cut number now. At plus 115, Marv Sargent. So remember, Marv, bowled on our featured pair, came into the day at -4 and has shot 919. So he's plus 115 overall, and he is the number right now. So a big game for him here. And he'll have a nervous day walking up and down the concourse, seeing if he was able to get enough. Right now, Mark Scroggins, we talked about him earlier as well. He is 65th. So first one out at plus 112. He's plus 1 on the day. I want to say he just shot 2-0. It's right there in front of me. He shot 215, so he got the second hit while I was down there. Plus 1 for 4 games. 1 spot out. Some big names on the outside looking in. Rick Minear bowled the only 300 game of the event yesterday. He's at plus 97 right now. Skip Pavone, who bowled very well at the Super Senior Classic, is on B squad, so he'll be coming up this evening. He's at plus 89, he's got some work to do. Paul McCordick, the 2016 Senior Masters runner-up, is 84th at plus 78. Tish Johnson, after going 120 over on the double burn, now is 98th at plus 54. So she is, unless she shoots something ginormous here in game 5, looks like her run at the Senior Masters will end as the lone female at this event. Lenny Boris with his 287 game jumps up to plus 257. He's in 14th place overall. These are combined standings, all three squads, so 2/3 of the bowlers have yet to bowl for today. I see a question about Doug Kent in the chat room, and he is 24th coming in. He's on B squad, so we'll see him at the end of the day today. But he's at plus 191, so comfortable. Just need to hang on for his final 5 games. Doug Kent, a 2-time Masters champ, 1991 and 2006. Remember, this is our final game of our C squad. And then we'll take a break. Should be close to an hour as we get settled in for A squad coming up next. Current leader James Campbell bowling now on 29 and 30. He's at plus 569. Starts this game spare double. 793 for his last 3 after a 184 start. Brian LeClaire down on 35 and 36. He's got no doubles and 1 open through 5. So looking like more and more like Campbell's going to be the guy. Both Marv Sargent and Mark Scroggins down on 37 and 8. They're 64th and 65th right now, both fighting for spots in the bracket. All right, we're ready for our final frame now. Our opening squad here. Our final day of qualifying. Robert Brown. Get to 226. Robert Brown in the top 10 right now, plus 298. He'll be 300 over and locked into a spot in match play. Just the finishing touches here in his final frame. One more great shot. So 220s for him. Definitely see him tomorrow. The final bracket will be posted later tonight on bowl.com. bowl.com/Senior Masters. All right, 233 for Campbell, 226 for Brown, and Knighting will finish with 163. Over on 21 and 22. Dana Wright, yikes, 157 finish with a strike on the fill. Let's see where he was. I know he was up in the number. Had a rough day today, unfortunately. And will be out of the number. It was nice to see him though. Had a great start to the week. Just a tough day here on the Fresh. No doubt we'll see him again in 2019. Brian Foss finishes with 230. Rick Bernori close things out. Bernori is actually in the number. He was at plus 119. A great start to this game. And then a couple of miscues there in the 8th and 9th. Still can get to 226 and give himself a good chance at advancing to the bracket. Ryan LeClaire finishing up down on 35 and 6. Looks like he just split in the 10th frame, but mathematically, it looks like it's going to be James Campbell leading the way. Good shot there by Bernori, but 4 won't go. 2-teen. You're making an interesting conversation here. Right now, the cut number is at plus 115 with 2 squads to go. So 216 max for Bernori, 168 for Fulner. That will wrap up our coverage here of our opening squad of the final day of qualifying at the 2018 Senior Masters. All right, Brian LeClaire finishes at plus 527. Noel Vasquez can get you 216 this game down on the far end. That'll put him at best plus 397. Brian Goebel can get to 214, so he would be at plus 374 max. So it looks like for sure. Take a look at 29 and 30 before we go here. See how James Campbell is bowling. Well, he still can get to the 220s. So I will follow up on that, folks. We do appreciate everybody joining us here for this first squad today. 2 more to go. We've got A squad coming up next. That includes Michael Haugen Jr. And then B squad will close out the day here on the double burn. After that, we'll know. Top 63 plus Walter Ray Williams Jr., who will head to match play tomorrow. Highlights along the way. And at this time, it is 11 a.m. here. Squad scheduled for noon. That's 3 p.m. Eastern, so we'll be back in 1 hour with our next squad. Folks, my name is Matt Canizaro. Appreciate you being here from the USBC Senior Masters. That is the news for now. See you on the lanes.